What up, world? Established Rich coming right back at you. My next story, I wanted to get into this shooting that the police are saying involves Lil Baby, Atlanta's Oakland City neighborhood, where two 13-year-old boys lost their lives and a 12-year-old was injured in a shooting. Investigation revealed that this tragedy was linked to a music video shot by rapper Lil Baby, which escalated tensions between rival gangs, leading to the fatal encounter. I just wanted to get into this. I don't want to really, blame Lil Baby, even though the police are saying that he is directly responsible for these two young guys losing their life. He does play a part in it by him shooting a video in a rival gang area, and him being a multimillionaire and still playing these street games, which really makes no sense. And it's very unfortunate that two 13-year-olds lost their lives. One on his 13th birthday, he lost his life. In May 2024, Lil Baby filmed a music video in Oakland City. This event wasn't just a creative endeavor. It stirred up existing tensions between local gangs. The flashy display, combined with the underlying rivalries, set the stage for violence. Fast forward to July 2nd, a deadly shooting occurred, resulting in the deaths of two 13-year-olds and injuring a 12-year-old. Authorities have connected this tragic event to the earlier music video shoot, highlighting how the glorification of gang culture can have real-world consequences. And that's just the truth. Some of these artists, they do go back and do charitable acts, and I know Lil Baby is one of those. He goes back and he gives back to his neighborhood at Christmas, and at Thanksgiving and back to school. But these charitable acts does not erase the harm that you continue to cause your community. I would think when you get rich and become a multi-millionaire rapper that you would leave some of these things behind, but we all know that's not true. He chose to come back and shoot this video in the neighborhood that these kids lived in because it was a rival neighborhood, and he was trying to send a message to his ops. These artists, whether they want to or not, they have a responsibility and they have a platform, and a lot of these kids look up to them. So him coming to that neighborhood and choosing to shoot that video put that entire neighborhood at risk while he was in Buckhead living in his high-rise condo. But let's check out the video of what the police had to say about the arrest.
Several weeks after this incident took place, we were out here holding a very similar press conference, and we were asking for the help from the community. In just a moment, I'm going to show you some pictures of 7 individuals that we were able to take into custody in conjunction with this tragic incident. I stood here and told you the story how on July 2nd, just after midnight of last year, we had two 13-year-olds and 11-year-old celebrating the birthday of Lamont Fremont. He had just turned 13, and he got to experience about 30 minutes of being a teenager before his life was taken. But one thing I want to make absolutely clear, and I said it then and I'll say it again, these kids were innocent victims. So when we talk about the gang involvement, these two 13-year-olds and this 11-year-old, they didn't have a gang involvement. We didn't have interactions with them as a police department. They were good kids in the community, and unfortunately, their futures, their lives were taken. So 5 of these individuals we already had in custody, we had arrested. Some of them were in jail on previous charges not related to this. So once we established probable cause, we're able to serve the jails in which they're housed with these arrest warrants. So the first one there is Mr. Sanders. Let me just flip in. Richard Hollis. Reginald Thomas. Marcus Crawford. Mr. Mobley. Tradon Crawford. And Tradon is one of the individuals that we took into custody yesterday. And then the final 7th individual is Mr. Ollie Caldwell. If you notice with these individuals, 2 of them share the same last name. It's because they are brothers.
My name is Major Ralph Woolfolk of the Violent Crime Interdiction Section. And I first want to say the overall theme of this case is grown men playing gangster that left 2 of our children in graves and a community in fear. And we know in these communities that strength is about building community, not destroying it. And in this case, leaving 2 young people in their grave. And for the investigation aspect of this, Lamont Freeman was allowed to be a 13-year-old for 27 minutes before gang violence ultimately took his life. Gang violence that was orchestrated by adults in our city. And cowardly acts of an Atlanta-based rapper that decided to go over into a rival gang stronghold and shoot a music video in a place that he knew he should not have been. And in the subsequent days, we saw homicides and shootings, and ultimately the deaths of 2 children as a result of his cowardly actions. And you know who you are. And I tell you that this team will work relentlessly to hold you and the persons that you are affiliated with responsible for those actions. Ultimately, there are components of this investigation that led back to a prison in the state of Georgia where an illegal phone, a contraband phone, was used to orchestrate these acts. There was a hit called by a high-ranking gang member on the opposite side of that opposing rapper's gang. And I'll tell you today, that gang was Goodfellas. Goodfellas Criminal Street Gang being one of the most hyper-violent gangs in the city of Atlanta. And we will pursue you relentlessly in making sure that we keep this city safe and suppressing violence throughout our city. And lastly, I'll say, as Major Malecki indicated, there is still a $50,000 reward that is on the table for additional information in relationship to this case. And our detectives and our officers, through all of the internal units and external units that you see here today, will be knocking on doors and working with this community that has been so resilient to collect additional information to continue to move this investigation forward.
No, there was not. We do believe that the 3 juveniles, 2 who were killed, 1 who was injured, they were just outside on the steps celebrating a birthday party. We don't believe that they were the intended targets of that gunfire.
And so then, are we going to name the gang on the other side? You named the Goodfellas, but what's the name of the gang that's affiliated with this rapper that we're not naming?
Yeah, at this time, so not to compromise the integrity of this investigation, we will not be naming that gang. It is a hyper-violent hybrid street gang here in the city of Atlanta, and there's subsequent information that will follow in the upcoming preliminary
Now,
hearing.
you hear what the police had to say about it, and, you know, the problem is that after they shoot these videos in the hood, wherever they are, they go back to their mansions, they completely isolated, they completely safe. Meanwhile, the people that live in that community have to deal with the consequences. Artists need to recognize the power of their influence on the younger generation. And a lot of them I know are young themselves, so they haven't grown to the point of being able to recognize how powerful their words and actions are. But if we keep putting out videos and asking them to think about how their influence affects the younger kids, maybe they'll listen. I hope Lil Baby will get to that point. I know that he's definitely a positive influence on his community when he chooses to be, so I don't want to be too hard on him, but this has just got to stop. The music industry used to be an escape for young artists to get away from the neighborhood, to change their lives. Now it's turned into a way to continue to live that lifestyle that you're trying to get away from, but that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe, establish Rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.